52 BC. Gaul trembled, the very air crackled with tension. Alesia, a small Gallic town, became a crucible. The fate of Gaul, of Rome, of Caesar himself, hung precariously in the balance. On one side, Julius Caesar, the cunning Roman general with his legions, veterans of countless battles. On the other, Vercingetorix, the valiant chieftain who had united the fractious Gallic tribes against Roman domination. This was more than a battle. It was a clash of civilizations, a fight for survival etched in blood and iron on the plains of Alesia. For years, Rome had tightened its grip on Gaul, its legions marching through the land, imposing their will. The Roman Empire, with its disciplined and formidable army, sought to expand its territories and bring more regions under its control. The legions, clad in their iconic armor and bearing the Roman standards, were a symbol of Rome's might and ambition. They built roads, established forts, and enforced Roman laws, leaving an indelible mark on the Gallic landscape. The presence of the Roman legions was a constant reminder of the power and reach of the empire. But the Gauls, a proud and fierce people, yearned for freedom. They were not just warriors, they were farmers, artisans, and families who cherished their land and traditions. The Gallic tribes, with their unique cultures and languages, had a deep connection to their homeland. The Roman occupation threatened their way of life, and the desire to reclaim their freedom burned brightly in their hearts. The Gauls were known for their bravery and tenacity, and they were ready to fight for their independence. Vercingetorix, a chieftain of the Arverni tribe, saw the simmering resentment. He was a charismatic and strategic leader, well aware of the growing discontent among the Gallic tribes. Vercingetorix understood that unity was the key to challenging the might of Rome. He spent countless hours strategizing, rallying support, and planning the uprising. His vision was clear: to unite the diverse Gallic tribes and lead them in a concerted effort to drive out the Roman invaders. He knew the time was ripe for rebellion. The Roman forces were stretched thin, and the harsh treatment of the Gauls had only fueled their desire for revolt. Vercingetorix's call to arms resonated with the tribes, and they began to gather under his leadership. His determination and resolve were evident as he raised his sword, symbolizing the fight for freedom. The Gallic leader's charisma and unwavering commitment inspired many to join the cause. He rallied the Gallic tribes, uniting them under his banner. The once fragmented tribes, each with their own leaders and customs, came together with a common purpose. This unity was unprecedented and gave the Gauls a newfound strength. Tribal leaders who had once been rivals now stood side by side, shaking hands and pledging their support to Vercingetorix. The sight of diverse warriors assembling under one banner was a powerful testament to their collective resolve. The rebellion was swift and brutal. The Gallic warriors, fueled by their desire for freedom, launched fierce attacks on Roman outposts and garrisons. The countryside, once peaceful, became a battleground as the rebels clashed with the Roman forces. The Gauls used their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage, executing ambushes and surprise attacks. The intensity of the fighting was a clear indication of their determination to reclaim their land. Roman garrisons were overrun, supplies seized, their hold on Gaul weakening with every passing day. The success of the Gallic attacks disrupted the Roman supply lines and created chaos within the Roman ranks. The once formidable Roman camps lay in ruins, a testament to the effectiveness of the Gallic rebellion. The morale of the Roman soldiers began to waver as they faced the relentless onslaught of the determined Gauls. Caesar, however, was not a man to be trifled with. The Roman general, known for his military genius and unyielding resolve, quickly recognized the threat posed by the uprising. He convened with his generals, devising strategies to counter the Gallic rebellion. Caesar's determination to maintain control over Gaul was unwavering, and he was prepared to use all the resources at his disposal to crush the revolt. His presence alone was a rallying point for the Roman legions. He would not let Gaul slip away. Leading his legions with characteristic determination, Caesar prepared for a decisive confrontation. The Roman legions, reinvigorated by their leader's resolve, marched with renewed purpose. The stage was set for a monumental clash between the might of Rome and the fierce determination of the Gallic tribes. The outcome of this conflict would shape the future of Gaul and leave a lasting legacy in the annals of history. Caesar, leading his legions, raced towards Alesia, a hilltop town where Vercingetorix and his army had taken refuge. The town was strategically located, perched high on a hill, making it a natural fortress. The Gauls, under the leadership of Vercingetorix, had chosen this location wisely, knowing that its elevation and fortifications would provide a significant defensive advantage against any attacking force. It was a formidable natural fortress, seemingly impregnable. The steep slopes and rugged terrain made any direct assault a daunting task. Caesar, however, was not one to be easily deterred. He understood the challenges but also saw an opportunity to demonstrate his military genius. Caesar had a choice: lay siege and starve the Gauls out, or risk a direct assault. The decision was not easy. A siege could take months, draining resources and testing the patience and loyalty of his men. On the other hand, a direct assault could lead to heavy casualties and potentially catastrophic failure. He chose a bolder path. Caesar decided to combine both strategies, showcasing his innovative approach to warfare. He would lay siege to Alesia, but not in the conventional manner. Instead, he would construct an elaborate system of fortifications to encircle the town. He would lay siege, but he would also build not one, but two sets of fortifications. The first set, known as the circumvallation, was designed to keep the Gauls trapped inside Alesia. This would prevent any attempts by Vercingetorix and his men to break out and escape. One to keep the Gauls in, the other to keep any reinforcements out. The second set of fortifications, called the contravallation, was built to face outward, protecting the Roman forces from any external threats. This dual-layered defense was an unprecedented move, showcasing Caesar's strategic brilliance. It was a gamble, a massive undertaking that stretched his resources and the loyalty of his men. The construction of these fortifications required immense effort and coordination. Roman soldiers worked tirelessly, often under harsh conditions, to complete the defenses. Supplies were stretched thin, and the morale of the troops was constantly tested. But Caesar was playing for the highest stakes. He knew that the success of this siege would not only secure his position, but also demonstrate the might and ingenuity of Rome. The outcome of this gamble would be a defining moment in his military career, one that would be remembered for centuries to come. Alesia, perched atop a hill, was a formidable stronghold. Its strategic location made it a natural fortress, difficult to assault and easy to defend. Its slopes were dotted with Gallic fortifications, remnants of a once thriving settlement. These defenses, though ancient, were robust and designed to withstand prolonged sieges. Alesia became the stage for this monumental clash, a decisive battle that would shape the future of Gaul and Rome. The landscape itself seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the inevitable conflict. The Romans, their camps laid out with military precision, demonstrated their engineering prowess. Every tent, every fortification was meticulously planned and executed. They formed a ring of iron around the town, a seemingly impenetrable barrier. The Roman soldiers, disciplined and resolute, stood guard, ready for any eventuality. Inside Alesia, the Gauls were numerous but low on supplies. The once bustling town now faced scarcity, and the people, though brave, were growing desperate. Their hope lay in a relief force, an army of their brethren marching to their rescue. This force, if it arrived in time, could turn the tide of the siege. The relief army, a beacon of hope for the besieged, was determined to break through the Roman encirclement. Their march was relentless, driven by the urgency of their mission. Caesar, aware of this impending threat, was not one to be caught off guard. His strategic mind was always several steps ahead, anticipating every possible move of the enemy. He had prepared a second line of fortifications, a testament to his strategic brilliance. These defenses were designed to protect his legions from attacks both inside and outside the encirclement. The double fortifications stood as a symbol of Roman ingenuity and determination. They were a formidable obstacle for any force attempting to breach them. His legions were now sandwiched between two enemy forces, their backs to the wall. The situation was dire, but the Roman soldiers were unwavering in their resolve. With determination etched on their faces, they prepared for the battle that would decide the fate of Alesia. The air was thick with tension, as both sides readied themselves for the impending clash. Section 5. The Double Fortification, a stroke of genius. Caesar's double fortification was a marvel of military engineering. The inner ring, facing Alesia, was a series of trenches, ramparts, and wooden towers, bristling with artillery. The outer ring, facing outwards, mirrored the inner, a formidable barrier against the approaching Gallic relief force. This ingenious system allowed Caesar to fight on two fronts, maximizing his limited manpower. The Gauls, trapped within their fortress, watched with growing despair as the Romans labored tirelessly, their hammers and shovels ringing out a symphony of impending doom. Section 6, Vercingetorix's last stand. Vercingetorix, a charismatic leader, rallied his men. He sent out desperate pleas for help, his messengers dodging Roman patrols under the cover of darkness. He knew that their only hope lay in breaking the siege. He launched wave after wave of attacks against the Roman lines, hoping to find a weakness, a chink in their armor. The fighting was fierce, a maelstrom of steel and fury. The Gauls, fueled by desperation, fought with the courage of cornered wolves, but the Roman lines held firm. Section 7, the tide turns, a desperate two-front battle. The arrival of the Gallic relief force sent a surge of hope through the besieged defenders. They attacked the outer Roman lines with renewed vigor, their numbers overwhelming. Caesar, facing a two-front battle, rallied his men. He raced between the inner and outer rings, directing his legions, plugging breaches, his presence inspiring his exhausted troops. The battle raged for days, a brutal dance of death. Roman discipline and training were pitted against Gallic fury and sheer numbers. The outcome hung precariously in the balance. Section 8, Alesia's aftermath, the Fall of Gaul. The climax came when Caesar, sensing an opportunity, personally led a cavalry charge against the rear of the Gallic relief force. The attack, a desperate gamble, broke their ranks, sending them fleeing in disarray. With the relief force routed, Vercingetorix, his supplies exhausted and his men demoralized, surrendered to Caesar. The siege of Alesia was over. The fall of Alesia marked the beginning of the end for organized Gallic resistance. Within a year, Caesar had consolidated his hold over Gaul, crushing the remaining pockets of rebellion. Section 9. Caesar's legacy, a victory for the ages. The Battle of Alesia was more than just a military victory. It was a testament to Caesar's strategic genius, his logistical skills, and his unwavering determination. It cemented his reputation as one of the greatest military commanders in history and paved the way for the Romanization of Gaul, integrating it into the Roman world for centuries to come. Alesia stands as a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, courage, strategic brilliance, and unwavering resolve can alter the course of history.